Today on Fix It Up Right, I decided to work on the Rhino. Today's goal was to put in the new battery and see if it would start, but there was a tiny problem. The gas tank was filled with rust, and I did not want that getting in my engine. So I started with removing 3 bolts that were securing the gas tank to the frame. I unconnected all the gas lines. Once I got the tank off, I wanted to show you just how bad it was. If you have experienced this, comment down below how you dealt with it. For this rust removal, I'm using good old Rust-Oleum. The tank had way too many nipples. Once I got the lines off, I wanted to clean and prep the surface for new gas lines. I used a wire brush to clean the rust off, and I also used it for the gas cap. Once that was done, I capped all the nipples so that it wouldn't leak when I filled it. I used a water hose to fill and rinse debris and powder out of the tank. I knew the petcock switch would be just as bad, so I took it off with a wrench. It was caked on there. So I used my hose spigot to remove as much as possible. I then used my wire brush to scrape off the second surface of rust. Bath time. I poured my Rust-Oleum solution in a tin pan. I unscrewed the petcock to clean the internals. I grabbed my good old wire brush and went to town. Once rust was off, I dried my parts. To make sure the metal didn't corrode, I used one of my favorite wax, Siemens. The petcock was good enough, and I was ready to put it back together. Once the solution was done sitting in the tank for about 15 minutes, shaking every 5 minutes, the rust was almost completely gone. I used some of my gas to rinse out the solution and remove the bad juices. I prepped the threads to reinstall my petcock. I used my duct tape to wrap the thread clockwise. Once my thread was wrapped, I screwed in my petcock and tightened her down. I waxed and dried my gas cap and put my O-ring back on. I sprayed my nipples with some lubricant so my gas lines would go on smoother. It was time to reinstall the gas tank. Tightened down my bolts, put my new gas lines on. She was ready for the new battery. After the battery was installed, I tightened her down. I made sure the bike was in reverse before starting it. She turned over, but she would not start due to carb issues. Stay tuned for the next project on this bike. Hope you guys enjoy.